Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are at the 1934 event here at GAC 2026. This podcast is sponsored by Enbright Credit Union, Empathy, the Tennessee League. Shout out to those folks. I'm your host, Jonathan Taylor, JT, with Bank Social QSO and CU Spotlight. And we just heard from the reason why we gathered today, Andy Janning, with Life Over Debt, talking about the program. We had Ron Smith get up from Enbright and read a very, very powerful statement from one of his employees who has personally benefited from the program. And now we're breaking and we're talking. And we have with us today Joe Strowzeski, Holy Family Memorial Credit Union in Wisconsin, CEO, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Welcome to the show. And
Thank you.
This lady's been around for a minute in all of our lexicons. Jackie Taque, CEO at Edwards FCU. I'm so excited to get both of you on. Welcome to the show, you guys. Welcome. Thank you for being on.
Pleasure.
So we talked a little bit off mic before we started this, but so both of your credit unions are doing this program. You're doing Life Over Debt. I'm going to start with you, Joel.
Okay.
Talk a little bit about the journey, and let's start before you launched. Let's first start with, how did you hear about it? What was your reaction? And what was the process to get to go, right? To get to the start of the program. We'll start with you, Joel.
Okay. Well, I first met Andy at CUNA Management School in Madison.
I like how you said encountered. It's like stumbling like a wild animal,
Isn't
right?
it like that with him, though?
I encountered a bear
believe.
who was getting into my. I'm just kidding.
Right. No, and he was speaking at CUNA Management School.
Yeah.
And that was my precursor to becoming a president at some point. And his stories touched us. In fact, he was doing the documentary series right about that time.
Yeah.
So we had seen a few episodes of that, and I was just, enthralled by it.
Sure. Impressive guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I told him tonight, I said I wouldn't expect a dry eye in this place, and he said, "No, I won't be human tear gas. We're going to really tell an impelling story, which is what we have." And then, when I became president at Holy Family Memorial 4 years ago, I ran into him again with, maybe it was just a webinar or something like that.
Yeah.
But it really re-sparked the thought of, this is a program that we should consider. Everybody has a cancer story. Everybody that's involved in this program, and have it say that all the time.
Yeah, it's true.
And we did. We all raised hands in that room. I didn't see a hand down. But so that's really what started it.
Yeah.
And then, but I went to him because, as he eloquently introduced me tonight as the smallest credit union that offers this program, and we're $19 million in assets.
Love it.
That was one of my first questions to him was, how can someone my size make this happen?
Sure.
And, he quieted me like you would your child. Sort of like that. And and so I said, and I was, I brought it to my board, and they were, and again, I was relatively new. I'd been there a year. And my board said, this is absolutely the kind of credit union we want to be.
Yeah. And
we want to lead this effort. And so go through the steps. Go do it, Joel. And Andy once said to me, he goes, "I can't believe how fast you're trying to get this on board." He goes, "Are you sure?" We had to make sure at that time. And now, from what we've learned and from all the conversations we've had, because I was with my league tonight when we were listening, and the Tennessee League regulator got up, and they all turned to me and they go, "You covered this with the regulators, right?" And it was like, yeah. We were very forward with it, and the policies that we put in place. So I tend to talk to my colleagues about, I'm a $19 million credit union. I have the ability to make these decisions to impact people's lives.
Right.
And you do too.
Right.
You really do. And if you don't know how, or if you're afraid, or you really need to know how it works, then we need to have more of a conversation. That's probably the biggest thing is so then we implemented it. We've been going into it. It is just under 3 years, I think. But its impact financially it really hasn't. And, we've got some amazing stories out of it because people tend to believe that your credit union or your financial institution, you can really do that. And we can pause your payments. We can pause your interest. We believe that your financial health will help you. If we can lessen that burden, you're going to have that much more of an opportunity to focus on your mental health. You're going to have that much more focus on your physical health. And that's the overall wellness piece, those three.
I love it. Joel, that's so powerful. Jackie, talk to me about your origin story with this.
So my story was probably a year ago.
Okay.
No,
you're good.
Oh, okay. So I heard Andy a year ago here at GAC, and I knew Ron, and I knew that Ron had implemented Life Over Debt, and huge fan of Ron, and I knew Yvonne's story. I had seen him, on LinkedIn. I'd seen all that he had done for his own employee. And my CEO, Carter, when I started at the credit union, lost his wife to cancer 2 months after I started.
Oh my God.
And I've lost 5 family members.
So sorry.
My grandmother who raised me was, the first. I'm a hospice volunteer because I've lost both my grandmothers, my father, my stepfather, and my uncle. Wow. And so it was personal to Carter and I. And I chatted with Ron about how hard is this going to be, and he's like, Jackie, we'll give you everything. It's people helping people. It's what we do. We will share policies, procedures. And I brought my VP of lending in. We had a conversation, and we started talking about what is this going to take. And we've been live. Andy came out a year ago in June, told his story in our boardroom, and I brought in, a bulk of my staff. We're small, smaller credit union, not 19 million, but
small but mighty.
Small but mighty.
That's
We're a
right.
boutique credit union.
I love that term.
And,
that's my favorite phrase.
So we had about 20 of my employees in the boardroom, and Andy was telling the story of Life Over Debt, and then he finished with his wife's story, and not a dry eye in our boardroom. And one of the things that we did was we had, at the time, 3 employees that had personally been impacted by cancer, and I asked them if they would be ambassadors of this program. And we took it to the board. The board was 100% behind us on it, and it was something that was really important to Carter and I to make sure that our members had this resource so that they didn't have to worry during a time that they should be spending time with their family, that they should be focused on their health, spiritual, physical, mental, the whole thing. And so it was very easy to implement and to get this going. It really was not hard for us.
I love the evolution of this thing. Number one, I love that to hear that, something that came from so much pain that could be turned into something that is powerful for credit unions to show empathy, right? For their staff, for their current members, but also people vote with their dollars, especially today, and especially with these younger generations. I have a 28-year-old daughter. Ask her, okay? They want to park their money in a purpose spot, right? And so you think about what you said, Joel, about how every single person's hand was up. Everybody has a story about either going through it or witnessing somebody who's going through it, and everything that's there. And it's what I love about the movement. It's like we admit we can't solve all the problems. We can't take care of everything that's going on in the life of somebody who's struggling with cancer. But we can do this, right? Or we can do this. We can pause those payments for 6 months. We can do, you know what I mean? And so I think about the effect, the positive effect in the loyalty that breeds in your staff for having a program like this. And then, of course, in your membership, because people vote with their dollars. And I think about the CFOs out there who it's their job. We love our CFOs. We need our CFOs. But it's their job to ask the tough question, where's the ROI?
Yes.
Right? That's the hard question. Where's the ROI? So this is a mile long, this question that I'm asking here. But I really want to wrap it positively and purposefully for the listener, because this is the $1 million question at the end of the day of the why. Why now? And why do we do this program? What would you say to that question of where's the ROI for the credit union, and what have you seen to answer that question? We'll start with you, Joel.
Yeah, that's a great question too, because that's what everybody has when they first get introduced to this program.
Sure.
I'm gonna the one thing I would add, just to get to before I get to the answer, is when we went to the board, we had created our purpose. We knew strategically how we wanted to be, so it made sense for all of our staff to be financial counselors and get that certification.
Great.
And so, boom, that was easy to get it done. And you touched on it with saying that just the buy-in from the staff to let them know that they can help somebody to that level has raised our service level, I think, in other areas, which we're seeing that as an advance on your ROI.
That impacts the bottom line.
Correct.
100%.
Correct. And so we have that. Then if you go to our credit union, and we are we're a closed charter, we serve a healthcare.
Love that.
And we felt that would have easily put us in line with the people that we're taking care of. And we even say that all the time in our shop, is that you take care of others, let us take care of you. So again, it just kind of all starts to fall in place, right? And then I will go to the sheer numbers of it all with the ROI question, in that we're a $19 million credit union. We have been in this program for almost 3 years, and we have written off $1,500 approximately.
Wow.
So it is interesting, and I could get into more stories about the member dynamic, trying to get people to actually participate.
Sure.
We've had some members who so are involved with the people helping people piece that they're like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to do that. And in fact, Andy and I were just talking about this earlier tonight, and the hook becomes, I have to tell these people that I need you in this program. You're going to benefit from it. But I need you in this program to set this up for the future people.
To help other people.
Exactly.
Isn't that
exactly.
amazing?
And go right to the people helping people.
Isn't that amazing?
And I don't know. I don't know how much more solid and full circle it all comes.
Yeah, 100%. And let's all face facts here, because I've worked with credit unions for many years. And, Ron was talking about what I used to call jingle mail, which was a voluntary surrender of the vehicle. And it's like, that's not a win for a credit union.
No.
That is only varying degrees of loss. And so keeping somebody in that vehicle, keeping somebody engaged in that loan, even if we're hitting the pause button, is, from an ROI standpoint, so much better than taking the loss. Like tenfold, right?
Yeah.
And so that's another answer that I immediately bark back when it comes to that question. What do you think, Jackie?
Yeah, to me, ROI is, how can you afford not to do this? We've been live with Andy's program now almost 6 months, and we've had 2 members that have had cancer, and neither one wanted to join the program because they said, we want you to keep those funds for someone who really needs it.
Oh my
so if
God.
that's not ROI, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
And both of them had multiple loans, and they're continuing to pay because they want the funds to go to another member.
100%.
And I think for me, ROI, and if we were in the opening session today and it talked about storytelling, that's the ROI.
100%.
Is those members are telling their story. They're telling their story to their friends, to their family, to their coworkers, to the folks in the grocery store. You know what Edwards did for me? They took care of me when I had cancer. You know what Edwards did for me? They didn't charge me anything for 18 months. My family was able to pay for it's just... It comes just from what members will say.
Right.
And we're going to get those positive stories because, you know, in a world where bad news travels faster than good news, we need those stories. We're in a time that is really challenging for everybody. We kicked off our program with a blood drive. So we decided to,
Love that.
that's most folks who have cancer need to receive blood transfusions.
Yeah.
And so we said, we're kicking this program off and we're also going to do a community blood drive because it's not just about our members.
Yeah.
It's about telling our community what we're doing for our members. And I've talked about it in our chamber meetings. I've talked about it with, you know, local business leaders, politicians in our community. And they're like, you're doing what? Yes, that's what we do at Edwards Federal Credit Union. Not another credit union in the Antelope Valley does this. Wow, that's impressive. And people are starting to talk about it. That, to me, is ROI. That brings in new members, and they're getting loans with us.
That is so perfect for where I wanted to go next. So thank you for being my Vanna.
You're welcome.
Because that was perfect. You opened all the vowels perfectly on that. So I always say this on not always, but most of the CU Spotlight podcast, we all suffer from the same thing in the space, which is a crisis of awareness. And the thing that credit unions, and I always say this with love, suck at in many cases is bragging about the amazing things that they do for their members because they are humble. It comes from such a beautiful place. They're humble. They shrug their shoulders and they say, that's our job. That's what we do, right? That's the movement. That's people helping people. But so many people out there don't know that.
Yes.
Right.
And so you talk about telling everybody. So what are some ways, and we'll kind of finish up on this, what are some ways that you're getting the word out? Because to your point, Joel, you're saying, look, and Andy was saying, look, we need people to come in and use the program so we can get more insight, so we can help more people to get in the program. How are you guys getting this word out? We got to get this word out, right?
Right. And that I would just say it's one thing we suck at.
I said it with love.
I'm going to say
with
it
love.
with
With
love
love.
to my credit union. We suck at the storytelling part.
We got to brag.
But we're
We got to
gonna-
start bragging.
Exactly,
Yeah.
we do. And, you know, I think that journey is starting with us a little bit with the healthcare network that we're affiliated
Love
with
that.
right
That's
now.
such a perfect fit for you guys.
And yeah. So I think, you know, that's in our near future.
Love it.
For how are we going to tell a few of the stories that we have to say, here's the impact we can make. It goes back to your comment earlier about your daughter wanting to be in a purposeful spot.
Yes.
And
They vote with their dollars.
Exactly, and that's exactly what it is that we believe.
Well, you guys are doing one thing. You're on a podcast right now.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yep.
That's a great step forward. We have lots of free advice on how to put a spotlight on this. But
Perfect.
that's the whole point of the podcast. That's why
Yes.
it's a spotlight.
Yeah.
Because we got to get the word out on all this incredible stuff. Because 90% of the people out there don't know about what we're doing, and certainly everybody. This resonates with everybody, right?
And
Yep.
I think you have to keep talking about it because
Yes.
it's not, oh, we put it on our website. Oh, we posted it a few times on social media.
Right.
No, we have to continuously talk about it. We're having another blood drive, and when we have our blood drive, we're going to talk about it again.
Gotta
We're going to
do
talk
it.
about it at our annual meeting. We're
I
going to
love
talk
it.
about at a chamber meeting.
Yes.
So everywhere we go, we are talking about this program because people forget. And then we need our members to remember, oh, yeah, I forgot. The credit union has this program. So
Right.
we are making sure that it's top of mind for them when they need it, that they remember, oh, I remember Edwards Cancer Care Program. That's
Yeah.
right. And our tellers, that's the other thing, is we make sure that once a quarter that this is part of our Tuesday training, that they don't forget to talk about it with our members. If we see things in the checking account, because they tell us, right? They tell our tellers and our member consultants, they share those personal, intimate stories, and that's when we need our folks to be ready to talk about it.
I love it. If this moved a listener to motion, and they wanted to reach out, Joel, we'll start with you first. Where would they go?
Yeah, well, I can give my email address.
Sure.
It's Joel, Joel, S as in Sam, at hfmcu.org. Heck, I put my cell phone number on my emails, too, so I'll probably reply to your email. And you have all of my contact, because I can't talk about this program to enough people.
Yeah.
And, that's just part of telling our story.
Love it. Love it. Same question, Jackie.
Yeah, same. LinkedIn, they can reach out to me via email, Taque, T-A-Q-U-E. I know it's Jackie Taque, but Taque at edwardsfcu.org. So,
Am I the only one that's saying it wrong?
No, everybody says Jackie Taque. I just say don't call me Tacky Jackie, and we're good.
Amen.
Right.
Amen, sister.
Yes.
And for the listeners,
Love
she does not look tacky. She's
Not even
very
close.
Thank you, sir.
fashionable.
Thank you.
Love the white coat. I would never dare myself. I'm a sloppy eater.
Come on, John
and
Travolta.
drinker.
Do it, JT.
No, that would not be white at the end of it's GAC on top of everything. Would not be white. Listeners, as I said before, and I'll say it again, we do suffer from a crisis of awareness in this space. It's the number one challenge. So let's spread the word. You're thinking of somebody that needs to hear this right now. Send it to them. Throw it out. Let's keep going. Let's support this program. I am your host again, Jonathan Taylor, JT with Bank Social QSO and CU Spotlight, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, JT.